Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Crystal Healing. I'm your host, Crystal Heal. This evening on this godio, I want to talk to y'all about death. And I entitled this godio, Death Ain't the Bad Guy Here. And the reason I entitled it that is because, for most people, when you look at a picture like this and you see what we call the Grim Reaper, if the Grim Reaper was at your door, most people wouldn't open the door. But I ask you on this evening to just suspend your belief and open your mind to new possibilities. Because I want to show you a side of death that you may not have perceived before. And I'm going to say again that death ain't the bad guy here. Now, something about this picture strikes me. And it's the fact that when I was growing up, my grandmother used to have a picture right next to the door, but it was a picture of Jesus. And it looked very similar to this one, matter of fact. It was Jesus, and he had a staff in his hand, and he was knocking at the door. And I guess the picture was to say that Jesus is knocking at the door of our heart. We must let him in. But you've also heard that many people don't let Jesus in. And I'm going to tell you why people don't let Jesus in. Because when they look through the peephole, this is what they see. But I've been saying a lot lately that if you want to get up, you got to get down. If you want to get out, you got to go in. If you want light, you have to go through the darkness. And in the same way, y'all, in order to get to life, you got to go through death. Now, I'm going to explain that. But in order to have life and have it more abundantly, some shit in your life has got to die. You understand? And so, in a very real sense, that no man goes to the Father except through him. Now, I know that's a little deep for a lot of y'all, but let me explain. Imagine that this door that the Grim Reaper is ringing the doorbell to is the door to your heart. Now, have you ever been in a relationship that caused you misery, but for some reason you couldn't depart from that relationship? Just miserable. Sitting there miserable day in and day out, but it felt like you was trapped there. Now, have you ever had that one morning where you woke up and you said, you see, what happens is when we let death in, to have his perfect work in our heart, what really happens is he destroys, he severs with that sickle of his relationships that no longer serve us. He destroys ideas that are destroying us. You understand? Death comes in and cleans house. Death comes in and kills the old man so the new man can come in. See, he's like the house cleaner. You see, if you renting out houses, when one tenant leave, you got to come in, repaint the walls. You know what I'm saying? You got to vacuum. You got to clean the house up for the new occupants. And I'm telling y'all that death is the house cleaner. So when you want to become a new man, you got to go through death. You got to go through death. Let death in your heart and let death take everything away that is mortal so that the only thing that remains is the immortal things. Let death into your heart and take away everything that is not conducive to your growth so that life can come right behind death and start planting shit. You understand? Because see, life, job, they're all one and the same entity, but they have different roles. The job of life is to create. But a lot of times in our life, we got things in places that they shouldn't be. So when God or life wants to create something, there's something in the way. How do we get that thing out the way? Death comes in and reaps it right out of your soul. That's right. And then life comes in and plants more abundantly of what you really need and what you really want in your life. Now, there's two types of deaths, what we call death. We got death, which is non-existent, such as when a loved one, what they call passes away, We can't see them anymore, so we say that they're dead. But there's another kind of death. It's a death that's called non-movement. And a rock is said to be dead. Even though we can see it and it exists, we call it dead because it does not move. So we can say that death is two things. Death is rest, which is non-movement, and death is non-existence. Now, when scripture tells you to let Christ in your heart to be your Lord and Savior, I know this sounds so unorthodox. It sounds so different from everything you was ever taught. But when you let death in your heart, death is rest. So when Jesus say, let not your heart be troubled, peace I give unto you, that's what he was referring to. That's that peace, that stillness, that's death, non-movement. Okay? And so I said all that to say this, is that you see, when we accept life, you can't accept half of life. You have to accept the whole life. And if you're still only accepting half of life, I want you to understand that is because you're only accepting half of yourself. You only want to see what you call the good side of yourself, and you refuse to look at your dirty. And so too, then we judge life, how we judge ourselves. We only want to see babies being born. We only want to see flowers growing. We don't like winter. We don't like to see people lying in coffins. We don't like to see death. And it is only because we have a lack of understanding of what death is. Death is God's right hand man, literally. So you read the book of Job and you see how the devil, Satan, was going to and fro about the throne of God, talking to God, sent on special missions for God. But we deny death, though. Did you not read the story about the children of Israel, how they were trapped under Pharaoh's thumb, and it was the angel of death that freed them? And I'm telling you, in the same way, within your own heart and within your own mind, if it wasn't so calloused and stony, death could find a way in there and destroy your old man. Your old man with its guilt, your old man with its faults, your old man with its insecurities. And when death has done a perfect work in your life, then life comes right behind him and start planting shit. The new growth of you, the new man. But you see, the old man can't be there and the new man be there at the same time. They both can't occupy the house. Do you understand that? They both cannot occupy the house. Just like what that parable say, that you can't put new wine in old wine skins or it's going to burst and you're going to lose both of them. That's something like what we're talking about right here. See, before you put the new man in, you got to take the old man out. But you see, that's not life's job. Life can't touch death, really. That's death's job, to come in. So when you're in a situation, when you're in circumstances, when you're in relationships that are killing you softly, like Lauryn Hill say, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly. Yeah, killing you softly. Then I implore you that the man you need for the job is death. Let death in. When death knocks, open the door. He is not your enemy. He is the cleanup man. He can be your savior if you allow him. But because you heard about death, you're scared of death. And death is not to be feared. See, when you really see life in all of its glory, you see death right on the side. They're master workmen. They've created all that you see. You see, without death, there would be no change, because death is the agent of change. And you see, another thing I like to say is death has minions that work for him, and it's called pain. You ever heard the song by Betty Wright? And Betty was right when she said, no pain, no gain. And pain works for death, and death works for life. No pain, no gain. I liken pain to rain. And you see, April showers always bring May flowers. Again, I liken pain to rain. April showers brings May flowers. What does that mean? That means sometimes pain and death take away that which is not conducive to your growth. It's not conducive to your happiness. But for some reason, you refuse to let it die. You got it back there behind the wall. You nursing your pain. You nursing these dead, necrotic ass relationships. Feeding them antibiotics. Trying to hang in there. When what you really need to do is just open the door. Let go and let God, like they say. Open the door and let death take those dying things out of your life. Now, I also like to liken it to this. You know, you ever heard the saying that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away? I want you to notice that it's not somebody else that taketh away. It's the same entity that giveth as the entity that taketh away. The same entity. And so you realize life is death and death is life. Now, on this here planet Earth, you've heard that life would not be possible without the sun and the moon, right? Have you heard that before? That you have to have the sun and the moon in order for life to be possible. If you take either one of them away of the equation, life would be no more as you know it. And I want you to understand that life is represented by the sun. It gives. That's what the sun does. It radiates life-giving energy. It gives. But understand that the moon is just as necessary as the sun. Now, the moon does not give radiating light. The moon is magnetic. It sucks. It taketh away. This is the cause of the tides, because it's sucking in energy. You ever heard when somebody died, they say leave the window cracked so the soul could leave out? Where is it going? Why do most people die at night? I'm going to tell you, because the moon is that entity which receives the souls. And the sun spits them back out. You've heard about the reincarnation, the recycling of the moon matrix and shit like that. Yeah. Well, it's very real true. But still, the point is that you got to have both. You got to have the moon and the sun to have life on earth. And in the same way, in order to have life, you have to have life and death. And death is not the bad guy here. So when death is knocking at the door of your heart, and you'll know it, because just like the radiation of the moon, or the magnetism of the moon, it's a cold feeling. So you feel that coldness. You feel the stillness of death. You ever been in the room when somebody died? There's no greater silence than when somebody dies. You get that cold feeling, don't you? You just feel cold to your bones. And you notice the opposite when a baby's born. When a baby's born, there's no silence there. It's noise, but it's an imperceptible noise, and it's warmth and brightness is always real bright. They're counterparts to each other. You see, it's like God said when he looked at life, it's not good for life to be alone. I will make for him a counterpart, which is death. It's like God said when he looked at the sun, it is not good for the sun to be alone. I will make for him a counterpart, which is the moon. You understand? And so they go hand in hand, yin and yang. And so I implore you, while we are trying in this time to find balance, And to maintain that balance, do not reject death. Do not reject death, because death will then reject you before his Father, who is life. Grasp what I just said. Grasp what I just said. Do not reject death in your life. Let death have his perfect work in your life. Let him pluck up what needs to be plucked up. Slash out what needs to be slashed out. Sever whatever needs to be severed in your life. You see, it's like now I'm a nurse, so I've seen it often, but maybe you haven't. But have you ever seen a leg or arm or something that was gangrene? Have you ever seen that? It's black, it's dead, no blood flow. It's literally dead, attached to the body. Now, see, if you know anything about medical, you know that gangrene grows. It grows. And so you have to perform a surgery in order to stop the deadness, the rottenness from growing up into the torso and essentially killing the person. You have got to sever that leg to save the life. And I'm telling y'all that there are a lot of things in your life that is gangrene and dead, and it is growing, and death is knocking at the door. Death is wanting to come in and sever that shit from you. But because you looked through the peephole and seen it was death, because you felt the coldness, the darkness, the stillness, you rejected death. You label him an enemy. When you see him hovering over grandmama, when you see him hovering over grandpapa, he's no longer a friend then, because he's taken away something that you love. So you think. But you see, death is also an air flight attendant. Death is a housekeeper, but death is an air flight attendant. That's right. Take you to another place. Yeah. Death will escort you to your new life. So I want you to see death differently. And I don't want you to treat death as an enemy here. You have no enemies here. None. That's right. Don't fear death. There's no reason to fear death. Death is a workman for God, for you. And if you just accept death, then you will find once death get in your heart, death is rest. That's why they say on the tombstones, rest in peace. Because death is rest. And death is life. New life, abundant life, and better life. Understand that. Let me check out some of these comments. Hi, Miss Gwendolyn. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, Miss Gwendolyn, there's a lot of money in teaching the fear of death. And by teaching the fear of death, they are teaching people to disdain and speak harshly of God's greatest and brightest servant. Yea, God's greatest son. Don't y'all know from darkness, out of darkness came light? And in the same way, out of life came death. Rather, out of death came life, because death is the foundation of all life. I know you don't want to think about it like that, but it's the truth. If you sit back and meditate and utilize your critical thinking, imagine what the world would be like without death. Everything would be like stones. No flower would ever grow. The seasons would never change. Your mood would never change. We would all be like robots or some shit, set to the same exact settings every single day. We would be like a statue. And so if you took death out of life, then life would become death. If you took death out of life, life would become death. And so it says somewhere in scripture that towards the end, when it's all said and done with, that the last enemy is destroyed, which is death. And that does not mean that death actually goes anywhere. It simply means that you see death as it truly is. You see death in its beauty. Now, when you're looking from a one lifetime frame, death can seem tragic when you lose people in your life. You understand? But we have to begin to look like God looks, to think like God thinks, to see like God sees. And God sees and thinks from eternity. You see? And so maybe grandmama went to bed sooner than you did. They say sleep is the cousin of death. Yea, it's even more than the cousin of death. But maybe grandmama fell asleep a little bit before you did. Maybe your cousin Bookie fell asleep before you did. But when you wake up, Bookie will be there. Grandmama will be there. You understand? So death is just like sleep. It is very needful. You ever seen a person who refused to sleep? What, you ever seen a person who refused to sleep and how they behave? They lunatics. They get delusional, lose their fucking mind. So we all know that sleep is a healthy thing, not too much, but sleep is healthy. It's while you're sleeping that your body repairs itself. Listen to the wording there. It repairs itself. And I want you to understand that when you die, it is just like going to sleep. You are repairing your soul in that rest, in that darkness, in that balance that is death, because death is balance. Death is complete balance. Because when yin is completely balanced with yang, they cancel each other out, and it's called death. Positive 1 added to a negative 1 equals 0. They balance each other out. They cancel each other out. That equals death. Negative 1 no longer exists, and neither does positive 1. But you repair your soul when you die in the same way that your body repairs itself when you sleep. But you will wake up again, as you do every single morning. You see, you can look at a lifetime as one day of your eternity. You wake up as a baby and you go to sleep, hopefully, as a grown, old man or woman. But you will wake up again, as you do every morning, and that'll be a new life for you. You see, every morning when you wake up a new person. You have a fresh new start. It's just like every time you die and get reincarnated, you have a fresh new start. But I want you to see that right now in this lifetime, every time that you go to sleep, you die. You meet with death, who is rest and non-existence. And you wake up a new being. And you have the moment, you have the option to reinvent yourself, to literally reinvent yourself. Yes, Miss Gwen, there's a lot of money in teaching fear of death. But you see, those who know, you ever wonder why you read esoteric and occult books and shit like that, and this look like they worshiping death? Like, what the fuck? All these skulls and black makeup and bones and, all kind of death shit. Like, what is that about? But these are the people who've realized the ministry of death and how important it is for life. You see, death comes so you can have life more abundantly. See, when you're in a relationship that is harmful to you, death comes and then you get a relationship that's better for you. Yeah, that's right. See, when you don't like yourself, death comes and destroys that self utterly, destroys your ego utterly. And then you can have a new ego, a divine ego. Death comes so you can have life and have it more abundantly. That's right. Hi, Todd. Hi, Jalen, Tommy. Yes, Todd. Love and pain like sunshine and rain. They go together. Michael J. Gainey, peace, shalom, Islam, family. Yes, rejuvenate, restore, and restart. Yes. So I just want y'all to begin to look at that. Death is not the enemy here. Death is equivalent to the moon. And the moon is much necessary for life as the sun is. So while we are praising life, we would do well not to deny death. We would do well not to deny death. Because death is the identical twin of life. And they work in unison like yin and yang. And you can't have one without having the other. They're like the front. If you got the front of a piece of paper, you necessarily have a back. You will never find the front of a piece of paper where there is not also a back of a piece of paper. And they together, the front and the back, make the whole paper. And so in this way, life on its backside is death. And them together make the whole of what we call reality of life. And so in anything that let me just take the time to say this right here. You hear about the story about the Garden of Eden, about how they had that tree in the middle of the garden. They had, what they say they had was two trees. One was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The other was the tree of life. And I'm here to tell you that there was only one tree in the midst of the garden. One tree. When you ate the tree, when you ate the fruit, it depended on how you were. If you are divided within yourself, you will see life and death as separate. You will see good and bad as separate. You will see up and down as separate. You would see yourself and others as separate. But see, if you're integrated and whole within yourself, then when you eat the fruit, all you see is life. All you see is life. Death is life, and life is death. In is out, and out is in. So when you look outside yourself, you're looking at the inside of yourself. When you look up in the sky, you're really looking at what's underneath your feet. Yes. Death ain't the bad guy here. What is the bad guy here is all those evil ass thoughts you are harboring, that guilt you are harboring. Those are the bad guys. But see, you got them locked behind the door of your heart, and you refuse to give them up, even though they're slowly killing you. But there's a knock at the door. There's a knock at the door. And if you just open the door and let it in, let it in, it will clean house. It's like them women, one morning they wake up, or even men, they in this harbor ass relationship, been in it for 15 years, just dying inside. And see, they go to sleep. And unperceptible to them, they have a conversation with Jesus or death, whatever name you want to give him. Jesus, who represents the black hole sign, the eye, death. They have that conversation. And they allow death to have his perfect work. And by the time they wake up, all of that shit is gone out of their heart. They get up, they don't call their mama, they don't call their friends, they just start packing their shit and they go. Just like that. Boom. And you see, a lot of people have wondered, how did that happen? I've been struggling trying to get out this shit for 15 years, and then just one morning I wake up and it's just that easy. I just leave. What happened? Well, see, you went to sleep, which means you went to death. And this time, you gave up the spirit. You stopped fighting, and you let death do what death do best. And when you woke up a new woman, a new man with a new outlook on life. And that's what I'm telling you here. Death is not the bad guy here. And I said that to say this. because I'm speaking from a personal level in terms of relationships and cleaning out old thoughts and things like that. But even on a bigger scale, y'all, on a bigger scale in life, when people pass away in life, I want you to know they call it pass away for a reason. Nothing can never be lost. Death is not the enemy here. Death did not take anything from you because nothing can never be lost. It's like the peekaboo game. See, you still a spiritual baby. So if you don't see it, you don't think it's there. Just like the peekaboo game. But it's still there in a different body. Let me explain to you like this. You see, we are all here as seeds. Your body is a seed, and within your body is your spirit. You ever bust open a seed, like say a lemon seed, a watermelon seed, any type of seed? You ever bust it open? You see that they got a little green core. You see, the green core in the middle of the seed is the spirit of the seed. But you are made the same exact way. You got a shell that's called your body. But inside that shell, at the very center of the shell, you have a heart. Your heart chakra is usually green. And I want you to know that this earth is like a garden. It's like a field in which you have been planted. And so, understand that a seed is not to remain a seed forever. I know you like the body that you're in right now, but you are destined to bust out of that motherfucker. Okay? I know you like the body you are in, but you cannot remain a seed forever. Indeed, you won't remain a seed forever. And I know this because you've already been planted here. And this is the garden of God. What happens when we die, per se, is the seed busts open. The seed busts open, and what used to be in the seed starts growing outside of the seed. I want you to know that when you die, your body opens up and your spirit is allowed to grow out of the body. The body is the foundation of your spirit. But notice something else. The flower, the plant, whatever it may be that grew out of the seed is not made of the same material that the seed is made of. Grasp. The plant that busts out of the seed is not made of the same material the seed is made of. It is a more refined material. Yes, it's got nitrates and carbon and all. It's got the same elements, but it's more refined. And so when we look at dead bodies, we see the seed, but because the spirit is of such a fine and different composition, we can't see it. You see, we got eyes and ears, and we got apparatuses that are equipped to pick up on seeds. But we don't have, most of us anyway, don't have the apparatuses to pick up on the spirits within the seeds. But I want you to know that death of a body is simply the birth of the spirit within. Just like the death of a seed is simply the birth of the wheat contained within the seed. And I want y'all to stop looking at your loved ones as if they're actually gone somewhere. They're not gone anywhere. They're here. But you just can't see them because your eyes only pick up on there's only 1%. 1% of all the digital rays out there that your eyes pick up on. I would submit to you the idea that once the seed busts and the spirit grows out of it, that it's the seed is on a whole different frequency than the spirit within it. And one day you will be fitted with eyes that can see, ears that can hear, when you bust out of your seed. So be of good cheer. Fear not death. Fear not life. Fear nothing. Everything is perfect here. The only reason you don't know that everything is perfect here is because they've been feeding you lies. They've been trying to keep you in your seed. They've taught you how to keep you in your seed. Oh, they tend to the seed. They got all kind of pharmaceutical companies to keep that seed nice and hard so your spirit don't bust through that bitch. And they call growth death. Ain't that some shit? They call growth death. Yeah, ain't that something? That's right, Todd. That's why in certain religions and certain cultures, they have what is called the Day of the Dead. And they actually commemorate the people who've passed on, because they understand that those people still have they can still have connection here to earth. They can still have connection to the seeds that haven't bust out yet. And they honor their ancestors. They honor those who paved the way for them. You understand? They honor those who are there waiting and watching their little seeds, waiting for them to bust out and join them. And that's all death is. Death is a busting out of this shell, this seed. And so, as always, I bring balance. I'm not finna just praise life and not praise death. I'm not finna give homage to life and not give homage to death, knowing that death will make life possible. You know, it's like you ever in those relationships where two people get together and old girl, she liked the man, but she can't stand his mama and daddy. And see, the thing with me always been was, how the fuck can you like a person, but you don't like their mama and daddy? How you like the apple, but you don't like the tree that the apple came off of? And it's the same thing here. How you say you love life, but you don't like the thing that causes life to happen, which is death? How you say you love life, but you don't love that which causes life to be what it is, which is death? You see, when you eating from the tree of life, then that's all you see. When you look at death, you see life. When you look at life, you see life. But when you eating from the wrong tree, though, then you want to separate shit. You want to divide shit. You want to put life over there and say it's good, and you want to put death way on the other end and say it's bad. Yeah. But you can't do that. See, when you eating from the right tree, when you eating from the tree of life, then you accept that pain in your life. You internalize that pain in your life, and you alchemize that shit. You turn it into gas to get you to moving. But we want to cut off pain. You know, this 2018, we cutting off all the shit that's not serving us, not even realizing that our pain serves us. I'm going to say that again. While you cutting shit off that's not serving you, I want you to realize that your pain serves you. Pain is just like rain. And April showers bring May flowers. That pain in your life is designed to show you where something is going wrong. Instead of rejecting it, instead of turning away from it, how about you turn towards it and talk to it? What are you trying to tell me, pain? What are you pointing me to, pain? I always say it's like a diabetic. If you know anything about a diabetic, eventually if they're a bad diabetic, they lose the pain receptors in their feet. I've had patients who've come in and their whole foot burned because they fell asleep in front of the floor heater. And when they woke up, they didn't have a foot. Why? Because they didn't have pain receptors to let them know that something is going wrong down there. Your foot is burning. Wake up. They didn't have that. So while you cutting off the shit that serves you, I'm telling you, don't cut off your pain receptors just because it hurts. Don't cut off your pain receptors just because it hurts. Because see, in scripture, that's called hardening your heart. Don't harden your heart. You need pain and you need death. Because pain and death equals transformation. I'm going to say that again. Pain and death equals transformation. Now, if you happy with the life the way that it is, if you are happy with you the way that you are, then you and death and pain have nothing to do with each other. But if you are a person of my temperament and you are constantly wanting to grow and you are never satisfied being stagnant and in the same place, then I implore you to make death your best friend. Make death your best friend. Because death is the only man that can get the job done. See, when you tired of the old you, when you tired of the jealous you, when you tired of the greedy you, when you tired of the depressed you, open the door. Open the door. And I promise you, when death get through cleaning house, baby, you'll be a new creature. You'll be a better creature, a happier creature. I appreciate death too, Terry A. Brown. I appreciate death. And look, yeah, it may even seem sadistic, but so many people have anxiety just simply because they cannot handle death. That's simply because they cannot handle death. So many people are enslaved by other people for fear of death. But if they knew what death really was, then couldn't no man enslave you by threatening you with death. That's like, you see, if you threaten me with death, that's like threatening me with life. You feel me? And I'm looking at you like, you really don't know what the fuck you saying, do you? You feel me? I don't even really go to the doctors, to be honest with you, because it is what it is. Oh, I know this a revolving door. You know what I mean? It's what it is. Facts. I appreciate death and I appreciate pain because they say ignorance is bliss. And it's true. To be ignorant is to be blissful. I done seen so many blissful people and they just as ignorant as to what's going on in the world, to all the evils, just as ignorant. But they happy. But I want y'all to know on the other side of that, wisdom is suffering. Ooh, can you accept that? Wisdom is suffering. I know they didn't tell you. They told you to chase that wisdom. Get that wisdom. With all your getting, get some understanding. Get. But they didn't tell you, though. They didn't tell you. They didn't tell you to count up the costs, did they? No, they didn't. You asked for wisdom because, you see, God giveth wisdom liberally and upbraideth not. But be prepared. Because wisdom comes through suffering. They say you learn obedience by the things that you suffer. Wisdom. You mean anybody that you think is wise, or you say they got an old soul, or all of these terms that basically mean you up there in the wisdom and knowledge area. I guarantee you, look back through their life and they done went through holy hell and gasoline draws. Holy hell and gasoline draws. They done been through every kind of destructive relationship. They done been rejected by everybody that they ever loved. They done been talked about, put down, picked last. You understand what I'm telling you? They done been raised among wolves. You name it. You name it. And that's how they got their wisdom. They get their wisdom the same way little children learn how to walk, by keep falling. So stop being afraid of failure, because that's where you get your wisdom. You try it one way, that didn't work. You try it another way, that don't work. Until you find the right way. And when you find the right way, it's called wisdom. But it's a lot of pain on the way there. Like I said, with the children learning how to walk, they got to fall many times before they learn how to get their balance. And it's the same thing with life. Life is about balance. You're going to fall many times before you get balance. Before you get rest, before you get that death you're looking for. You're going to fall many times. Don't be afraid to fall. Don't be afraid to fail. Get out there. Do what you do. Stop worried about what other people think, what other people feel. Be unapologetically you, and don't be afraid of death. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of pain. Don't even be afraid of rejection. Some people don't have spouses or partners because they're afraid to be rejected. They don't want to approach the opposite sex or the same sex, depending on what you go for. They're afraid to approach them because they don't want to hear that, no, thank you, or something like that. But I promise y'all, confidence sells. Confidence is sexy. You ever seen them big, just big, ugly, just kind of motherfuckers with a bad bitch on their side, and you wonder how that happened? And you over here, you cut, flossing, got your hair looking good, and you can't get nobody because you got to put yourself out there. You got to put yourself out there. The threat is real, but the fear is an option. I want you to know that the threat of rejection is real, but your fear is an option. See, you know what courage is? Courage is not acting where there is no fear. You cannot say that you are courageous if fear was not present. Courage is acting in spite of the fear. And so even in the dating game, when you see something you like, fuck that fear. You understand? You go over there. You peacock and you talk and you open yourself up and be confident that you will be received. And if you not, say fuck it, it's her loss. Do you know who you are? Do you know how much you're worth? You know how many people would love to have you at their side, but they just as scared as you. They just as scared as you. It's almost like gambling, you know. I don't gamble much, so I don't know the terms, but it's like if you pick all the numbers, you bound to win one. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with everything else. If you just put yourself out there, don't be a fear of death. Don't be a fear of failure. Don't be a fear of rejection. And this is where the importance of having death within you as your Lord and Savior comes in at. Because see, when death resides within you, rejection can't come in. Bitch, I'm already rejected. You feel what I'm saying? When death resides within you, bitch, you can't kill me. I'm already dead. You feel what I'm saying? When death resides within you, fear can't come near you. Bitch, I am fear itself. You feel what I'm saying? When that shit resides within you, you no longer fear it. Because it's like fearing yourself. Death becomes your best friend. You don't have a fear of being alone anymore because death is non-existence. And that resides within your heart. I don't even exist. How about that? How about that? I don't even really exist. So no, I'm not afraid of being alone. Let death in, have its perfect work in your life. When they insult you, you don't even feel that shit. I don't know who you're insulting, but I really don't exist. And yeah, I know this sounds crazy to a lot of y'all, you know, if you're not used to this line of thinking, but for those who have experienced that, for those who have death resident within them and have accepted death as their Lord and Savior, whom brings life to you, then you know that a motherfucker, once death is in you, a motherfucker can't touch you on shit, on nothing. They can't tell you you're fat, you're ugly, you don't give a fuck because you know you don't really exist anyway. Not really, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's all a motherfucking illusion. You must be talking about my ego. When death really, really lives within you, they can't threaten you with enslavement because, see, you live in that death. You live in that rest. You live in that peace. Wherever you gonna be, I'm gonna be at peace. You put me in a cage, I'm at peace. Wherever you put me, as long as I got me, who is death, I'm good. We comfort each other. I cry on death's shoulder at night. And I wait patiently for that moment where we can truly be together. Truly be together. Now, I know for all you life lovers, that shit sound crazy. I know for all you life lovers, that shit sound crazy. But for some of us, life looks more like death. And so death seems a little bit like life. So I wait in patience. I buy out my time. I do my duty as a mother, a sister, a wife, and a daughter while I'm here. But I wait. I wait for that fateful day where death comes to pick me up. We already made friends right here and right now. So you can't fuck with me. You feel what I'm saying? Death is my shield. You can't kill a man that's already dead. How about that? You can't wound the ego that don't exist. How about that? Yeah. You can't reject somebody who lives in perpetual rejection. You can't neglect a person who've already neglected themselves. Now, I know that sounds complicated, but to all my mystics, I know you grasp what I'm saying. To all my occultics, I know you grasp what I'm saying. To all my witches and warlocks, I know you grasp what I'm saying. To all my gods and goddesses, I know you grasp what I'm saying. There's a stillness. There's a peace at the very core of your being. And when life gets rough, when shit moving too fast, when it's crazy out there, then you go in. You go into that little cave. And you rest. Find rest for your soul. Death is not the enemy here. You rest in your peace. And your peace is balance. Todd Randolph says, knowing your self-worth brings opportunities. Facts. Facts, Todd. You got to know who you are. You got to know that you're everything and nothing at the same time. That's what's so hard about balance, is you have to accept both sides. And it's hard for people to do that. It's hard for people to say, I'm a human, but I'm also a God. It's hard for people to cognize the fact that you exist, but in reality, no, the fuck you really don't. You feel what I'm saying? It's hard for people to understand that they are everything, but at the same time, you ain't shit. You feel me? It's hard for people. It's hard to be a walking contradiction. People usually want to suicide. They want to pick a side because there's conflict. Every time that you have opposing forces, it's conflict, like on the football field, like, the dark force versus the light force. You always want to pick one. I'm part of the light force. I'm a light worker, But how about you just accept the fact that you are a light worker and a dark worker? When it's time for me to shed light, I'm bringing that light. But when it's time for me to bring some darkness, I'm bringing that darkness. Yeah, and darkness is good too. You see, we always want to praise the light, hail the light, worship the light. But nobody want to praise and worship the darkness, right? Darkness is bad. Darkness is evil. Is that right? Didn't your ass was birthed from darkness? Wasn't your soul, didn't your very soul come from darkness? Not only your soul, but wasn't your body birthed from the darkness of your mother's womb? But darkness is so fucking horrible, though. Yeah, I thought so. Do you not know that all of the plants need darkness? Do you not know that your own body needs darkness? It's set on a time schedule. Do you know that every seed grows in the darkness? And that's where most of people at right now in their life. They're in darkness as a seed, growing, soaking up nutrients. But the darkness ain't the bad guy here either. Sometimes you need to shut off the light on some shit. How about that? Sometimes you do need to turn away from some shit. How about that? You see, like Ecclesiastes say, there's a time for all things. And this is why the internal compass and discernment is so important. Because sometimes you need to build some shit and sometimes you need to tear it down. That's why I say I stay balanced. I'm all in all. If the situation requires me to hug you and give you some positive affirmations, that's what I'm going to do. But if the situation requires me to give you a strong kick in your ass and tell you about yourself, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Whatever brings life, you understand? Whatever brings life, that's what I'm going to do. Justin Taylor says, it's crazy out here. Brian says the only thing that can save us from life is death. Yes. And the only thing that can save us from death is life. When you look at them objectively, you will come to a strange conclusion that life is death and death is life. Life is death and death is life. They're a door. One side of the door is painted white and it says life. The other side of the door is painted black and it says death. But it's the same fucking door. You feel what I'm saying? We like to separate the shit. Same door. And the whole door itself is called life. The whole door is called life. So then you see life and death is part of life. Movement and non-movement. Existence and non-existence. We have to accept it all and realize that it's all good. Just like the scripture say, God looked out at his creation and he said it's all good. Paraphrasing, of course. And you know you've made it when you can look out in the world, when you can look at the wars and death and all of this shit and look at it and say, really though, it's all good. Like, it really is all good. When you start seeing the strings. It's hard for people to do though. That's why they say broad is the way to destruction, as narrow is the way to life. Because it requires marriage. Marriage of your opposites. Marriage of your opposites. That means you marry death with life. You join them together. And now they are one. You understand? And so you don't address death in any way that you won't address life. You see what I'm saying? Because see, life, it's something about in the relationship. Like, see, with me and my husband, like, you can't handle me any kind of way. You just can't handle me any kind of way. Not in front of my husband, you can't. You feel what I'm saying? Not without him getting in your shit. You feel me? And it's the same thing with life and death. They're married. And I want you to know that you can't just handle death any kind of way. Not in front of life. You can't handle death any kind of way. Because life will get all in your shit. Straight up. Straight up. So anyway, I don't have too much more to say about the subject there. I just wanted y'all to try to most of our minds are so hard and rigid and they're stuck in their belief system. And I always say, try to make your belief system a little bit more fluid. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to tell y'all what to think. I just want to tell you how to think, how to begin to critically think and change your perspective, bob and weave on your perspectives and see things from different ways. Play with the shit a little bit and you'll be surprised of what you discovered. Not only that, but it will make you a mental master when you do that. When you learn how to be flexible. It's the same thing. A person with a flexible body is a gymnast. A person with a flexible mind is a mystic. And I'm asking y'all to be mystics. It's a wonderful life. It really is. It's magical and wonderful. And so-called regular everyday things become sacred. Life, all of life is sacred, including death. That's right. All of life is sacred, including death. And so you began to, when you go to funerals and memorials, instead of feeling this overwhelming gloom and sadness and fear, wondering who's next, you can look at the shell of your loved one and know that they have burst out of it like a spiritual plant. And they are growing slowly towards the light. The everlasting light where there is no sorrow. Yes. Let's see what else I got here. Yeah, they have been ignored. Good evening, Tony. The only thing that can save. Oh, I read that one. Okay. Peace, Tracy Meeks. Peace. Yeah. So anyway, I just want y'all to see that it's all good here. Everything is serving you. Your pain is serving you. Death is serving you. Life is serving you. Joy is serving you. Sunshine is serving you. The rain is serving you. Everything is serving you. There's nothing to fucking cut off. There's nothing to cut off. Cut off that which no longer serves me. Everything's serving you, bruh. You tell me what's not serving you. Tell me. What's not serving you? Your pain serves you. Your pain lets you know that some shit need to be corrected. Some shit is out of balance down there by your big toe. You see what I'm saying? Even if it's pain in your heart, that means some shit is out of balance in your spirit. So why are you cutting your pain off? Now, I understand you cutting your sources of pain off, but people's cutting the pain off and leaving the source. The nigga's still in the house. The source is still there. But you just pretending like the pain ain't there. You covering the shit up, going get your nails done. You at the club, you with your friend, you all up in church, falling all over the altar and every fucking thing else. But you cut the pain out, but you have yet to cut the source of the pain out. How about that? Ain't that something? You want to cut death out your life. Every time you get a cough, you run your ass down there to the clinic. You think you getting life in them pills, but what you're getting is more death in them pills. And it kills me when Christians do this shit, who have absolute faith in Jesus to heal them, but clearly not enough because your ass is running down to the clinic. And last time I checked, nobody said Jesus was there. All I'm saying is everything serves you. And the fact that you think that something doesn't serve you means you got more work to do. You keep working until you realize that everything in life and everything outside of life, everything in heaven and everything on earth serves you. Whenever you realize that all the bad shit that happened in your life, as well as the so-called good shit that happened in your life, was designed to serve you, to grow you, to make you into a better person. And when you get tired, when you get truly, truly tired, and when you don't understand, when you get lost in the sauce, rest in death while in life. What do you mean by that, Crystal? Rest in death while you're alive. How the hell can you rest in death while you're alive? See, he who experiences the first death will not be hurt by the second. Rest in death while you are in life. That means affirm to yourself the truth. That is all good here, even though you don't feel it and you can't see it. Affirm to your heart. Heart, be still. And affirm to yourself that it's all good here and you rest. Fuck it. The world gonna continue to go on without you. You ain't got to be up in everything. The world will continue without you. It's just like they say about a job. You ever seen that chick at the job? She think that the whole job revolves around her. That if she take a sick day, that everything is just gonna crumble without her ass. And you be looking at her like, girl, if you only knew, bitch, if you died tomorrow, they replace your ass in a New York second and shit'll keep on rolling like it was before. And I'm here to tell you it's the same thing here, y'all. It's the same thing here. When life is pushing you to do more and more and more and more and more, because life is movement, then you need to go talk to Dr. Death. And Dr. Death will tell you, sit down and rest. Life gonna continue on without you. Rest. Rest in peace. Right now. Not later. Not in the hereafter. Not in the great by and by. No, you rest in peace right now. That's right. Death is not your enemy. Death is your friend, if you let him be. It's like I always say, you see, we all got demons. We all got demons. But if you learn how, you can take those demons, jump on their back and ride off into the fucking sunset, and can't nobody touch you. So that which used to be barking and howling and gnawing at your fucking ankles is now your watchdogs. And that's what I'm telling you about death. You've been running from death for years. You don't even like to look at death. Anything that you don't want to hear about death. You want to take death out of your whole reality if you could. But I'm here to tell you that if you learn how to do it right, if you marry yourself properly to death, then death can be your bestest friend. Death can go places you never could go. Death can do things you never could do. You understand? That makes any sense? And that which used to be against you is for you. But fighting death is not the way. Nobody ever wins. Y'all notice that? Oh, we got so many arts to fight death. So many. But you notice something strange. Death always wins. Death has never took a L. Never. Never took a L. Anytime death sets its sights on something or someone, they get got without fail. I don't give a damn how many antibiotics, how many chemotherapy, how many surgeries, how many herbal conditions. I don't care how many miles you run a day, how many chapters you read in the book. It doesn't matter. None of them fucking things. Death is going to get you regardless. What I'm telling you is go ahead and accept death now. And I promise you, life won't be as scary. It'll actually be more enjoyable. You see, if you look around and you look at your parents and you say to yourself, well, they got to die at some point in time. Just the acknowledgement that death is around the corner will allow you to put more effort into loving them now. You understand? It's something about, you ever had, you read the newspaper or your girlfriend calls you, girl, guess who died? And it's somebody you went to school with. And see, something happens when that happens. There's something about reading the obituaries that make us real appreciative of life. When you hear stories about people about that same age with you done fell out in the yard with a heart attack or done caught a stroke and they paralyzed on one side, for some strange reason, we seem to be more appreciative of what we have when we see its contrast. And what I'm saying is, if you just accept the fact that everybody's got to die, then maybe, just maybe, you will start loving them now. Because you really don't know what time and what day they're going to fall asleep. Like the scriptures say, it comes like a thief in the night. So maybe you should think about that. Instead of pretending death doesn't exist, accept that shit. And judge yourself accordingly. Love hard when you love. Laugh hard when you laugh. Live hard when you live. Dance hard when you dance. You understand? Love your children and hug them tight. Might be a long night before you get to see them again. Hug your mama and daddy and hug them tight. They might be taking a journey. Don't deny, we all got to take the journey. Just like I said, nobody ever wins against death. Nobody. Like they say, your arms are too fucking short to box with God. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Too short. And you never win. So just accept it now. Accept it now and live every day with that in the back of your mind, that the next moment is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. Next month is not promised. Yeah, that's how you behave. That's how you get the most out of life. You see, it's something about, if somebody told you today that you got 48 hours to live. If they told you today you had 48 hours to live before you make that transition on over to your new home, what would you do? You got all kind. I can see it right now in your head. You see all kind of shit playing. You got a little bucket list, as they call it, in your head. And what I'm telling you is, why don't you live every day like that? Why don't you live every day like that? Because the truth is, no man knows the hour or the day in which your Lord will return to take your ass home. No man. So why don't you live every moment to its fullest? Every day to its fullest. Every month to its fullest. We don't, though, because we forget about death. And every time he pop up at the door, we shocked. What are you doing here? Yeah, we shocked every time death pop up at the door, like we ain't fucking know death was coming. Death is always coming. Death is always coming. Sometimes he walk a little slower for others, and sometimes he walk really fast for others. But death coming to pick all our asses up at some point. So why don't you enjoy your life? You too busy worried about dying, you ain't even fucking start living yet. I'm going to say that again. You so busy worried about dying, you ain't even start living yet. The sheer fact of you knowing that one day that you got to die and you don't know what day that's going to be should be the thing that drives you to live your life to its fullest. Do what makes you happy. Visit the world if that's what you want to do. You want to go to school for something. If that's, you think you're too old, go to school, baby. Go to school. Do whatever it is that your heart desires for you to do, within bounds, of course. You don't want to do anything that's immoral, no shit like that. But what I'm saying is the world is yours for the pickings. The world is yours for the pickings. Stop letting the thought of death ruin your family moments. You sitting at the table with the family and everybody's smiling and you sitting back here thinking about who gonna be the one to die next. Such a beautiful moment. I wonder if next Christmas is everybody still gonna be here. Who gonna be missing from the table next Christmas? And instead of taking that idea, instead of taking that pain and alchemizing that shit, you sit there gloomy for the rest of the night. You not even enjoying the time that you do got because you too worried about who not going to be here next year. No, what you do is you alchemize that pain and you tell yourself, okay, it's true. I accept the fact that somebody might not be at this table next year. Well, I don't know which one it is, so I'm going to love up on every last one of them just in case it's them. And you give them all kisses and you tell all of them what they mean to you in your life and how they've contributed to you and how you love them and you appreciate their presence. And therefore, whoever it is, you'd already be done got that out the way. But instead of doing that, you sad and shit. You don't even want to go to family functions no more because you feel like death gonna show up taunting you and shit. No. Death is only there to remind you to enjoy your time. Reclaim your time. Death is not there to steal. No, it's not. Death is not there to steal from you. Death is there to give you life and give it more abundantly. To show you how to treat people. Show you how to appreciate each moment. Show you how to appreciate the connections and the love and the people in your life. Death is not the enemy here. So anyway, I went all off. Y'all know I'm unorthodox. I'm always is unorthodox. I don't know why, but maybe it's because, like I say, maybe I am actually here to bring some type of balance. I am the, I channel the spirit of the Black Madonna, the Black Whole Sun, who is for darkness, who is for death, who is for, because this is part of life. Now, it's not just part of life; it's the foundation and the fountain from which all life springs. You understand? So I'm all for glorifying the apples and the leaves and the branches, but I really want to say thank you to the root, you see, because the root is from which it all stems. And so we have to find balance, y'all. We just have to find balance. We have to learn to accept life as well as death. We have to learn to accept our unsightly parts as well as the parts of ourselves that we think is beautiful. We have to be holy, okay? Whole E. The whole energy spectrum, the whole energy field. Not half, not just the part we want, the whole thing. And that's where you're going to find peace. That's where you're going to find your rest. That peace that passes understanding, because it's overstanding. That's why. Yeah. So anyway, Justin Taylor Crenshaw, peace. Who else I got here? See, Tracy. I spoke to you, Tracy. Brian Tompkins, peace, Brian. Terry A. Brown. A lot of y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and listening to me ranting and raving. And I noticed that the shit that I talk about is completely different in a lot of aspects than what other people talk about. They praise the light workers, but don't never want to talk about the dark workers. You know what I mean? And I guess you could say I'm a dark worker, because I'm not here to build up ideas in your mind. I'm not here to give you belief systems. I'm just tearing down the old ones. Let's just be real about it. You know what I mean? I could care less what you build in the place where I tore down. I'm like, I guess I'm like Hulk in this bitch. That's my specialty. I make you doubt shit and question what you thought you might have knew. Make you question what you read. Did you really read it that way, or did you read it how it's supposed to be read? You know what I mean? I'm a destroyer. So that's what I, champion for. I champion for the dark side. I champion for the black woman. I champion for death and pain. I champion for suffering, because I know that without suffering, you will not get wisdom. People could tell you things all day long till they blue in the fucking face. But wisdom does not come by hearing. Faith does. Understand what I just said. Wisdom does not come by hearing. Faith does. Knowledge comes by hearing, but not wisdom. See, wisdom is something that you got to get yourself. It comes from experience. It comes from falling and rising, falling and rising, falling and rising. Wisdom can be likened to muscles. Can't nobody make your muscles big. You could watch workout tapes. They could even tell you about the workout tapes. But until you actually do the push-ups, do the leg lifts yourself, your muscles ain't gonna get big. And suffering brings wisdom. Suffering brings obedience. So though suffering may have been labeled as bad, I see its fruits. So either if the fruits is good, then that means the root is good. And so if suffering brings wisdom and wisdom is good, then that lets me know that suffering is good too. If death brings rest and rest is good, then that lets me know that death is good too. Yeah, that's right. And even in the same way, they say ignorance is bliss. If you count bliss good, then you have to say ignorance is good as well. Everybody got choices. Everybody got choices, y'all. So anyway, I thank you all guys for listening. That's all for my my destruction, my destructive, destroying all your belief systems and shit. I think I'm done with that for the day. I hope I have done a good job at bulldozing right through what you thought death was. Plowing right through what you thought life was. And I hope that you got a clear garden now. You got some fresh, good, dark, black soil in which to plant new ideas of what death is, new ideas of what life is, and most of all, new ideas of what you are, because you're more than what you know, and you're not just human. Thank y'all for listening in. Hi, Miss Diana. Yes, thank y'all. I want y'all to know that I love y'all all, even though I may not know you personally. I know you in your inner man, because we all the same and we all share the same experiences. So I love you. I'm telling you, hang in there. The best is yet to come. Literally, it's not just some shit I'm saying because it sounds good. The best is yet to come. Time is speeding up. We're almost at the end of the great work in which we can all relax and rest and enjoy each other without sorrow or sadness. We will actually be in peace. So with that said, I love y'all, and y'all have a good evening. I will be coming back to do another godio, which will, but it'll be more like just a chill session, just talking, running it. You know what I mean? I just want to just run it with y'all. No particular topic. So get your topics ready that you want to discuss and talk about, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna run it. So. For those who will be joining me in that, I'll see y'all there. And for those who are not, I hope y'all have a wonderful evening.